From New Delhi, you're watching DD India, India's voice to the world. This is News Hour. I'm Mark Lin. Namaskar. Coming up in the next hour, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates World Audiovisual Entertainment Summit Waves 2025 in Mumbai. He hails the rise of India's orange economy driven by innovation and creativity. The four-day event is set to showcase Indian entertainment industry's prowess. The US Defense Secretary Hegseth expresses condolences over Pahalgam terror attack, pledges support to India in the fight against terrorism. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh highlights Pakistan's role in backing terror groups. The US-Ukraine historic minerals deal is set to strengthen global supply chains amid extraction challenges and geopolitical risks. Acting President Han Duck-soo resigns ahead of South Korea's June 3 election. The frontrunner Lee Jae-myung is accused of election law violations. Waves 2025 was launched in Mumbai, showcasing India's film and content industries. Prime Minister Narendra Modi emphasized Indian-made content's role in economic growth and cultural richness. With 113 sessions, the summit aims to transform India's entertainment sector. Rabindra Chauhan reports. We'll get to that report in a little while. Now let's move on to our next story. At Waves 2025, the filmmaker Karan Johar led the session titled Journey from Outsider to Ruler, featuring Bollywood stars Shah Rukh Khan and Deepika Padukone. Now, Khan, in fact, urged the young artists to focus on hard work over labels, while Padukone, she emphasized authenticity in acting.
First, like to clarify, because there's a lot of discussion. Hunger, ambition, all these are lofty words, and it's wonderful to describe yourself and say कि हाँ मैं बहुत भूखा था, मैंने बहुत मेहनत की. These are lofty words once you have made it big, so I don't believe in them. I also have a problem about distinction of this insider and outsider. I think it is not important where you come from. It is not important कि आप किस जगह से आए हो और इस वर्ल्ड में बसना चाहते हो. Actually what is important is आप इस वर्ल्ड में, या जो भी वर्ल्ड आप चूज करो, बिजनेस है, फिल्म्स है, पॉलिटिक्स है, आप उसमें अपनी जगह कैसे बनाना चाहते हो. What happens is most people start thinking, oh, I'm from the outside world, only the privileged will get a chance. I don't have such a distinguished background, I will not get it. So if you start wallowing in self-pity and thinking these things, you will never give your full force of energy to make a space for yourself in the world that you want to be part of.
There's certainly an advantage to the amount of knowledge and information that there is out there today, but I think most importantly to not lose who you are in that process, because what makes one actor unique from the other is yourself. Every role can be played by every actor. So if something's offered to me, somebody else can do it. But eventually what makes it different is how I do it and how I bring a little bit of myself to that role versus say how somebody else, So I think to not worry about what is happening around you, but really tune in and be authentic is when I think you will be seen and will help you stand out from everyone else.
And in a milestone for Indian gaming, 4G, the domination launched on Android at Waves 2025. It's developed by Dot Games, and this latest title in the 4G series, or it's by Encore Games. It highlights India's growing prowess in creating culturally rooted, globally competitive games. Speaking to DD India, Dot9 co-founder and CEO Deepak Ali said that the launch marks a major step in India's gaming revolution under Prime Minister Modi's vision for a self-reliant innovation.
Well, India's gaming industry is booming. In fact, there is a lot of stress on how a Make in India initiative can turn this huge industry. It's a multi-million-dollar industry, and to capture that, it's important to have a Make in India product. And I have with me Mr. Deepak Ale, who is a founder of Dot9 company. It's a gaming industry company. Sir, tell us. We spoke about the fact that this is a huge moment for the gaming industry. You guys are the startup also, work on this. How this whole thing happened with Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself stressing that it is high time that Make in India, for the globe, we should make some games.
So yes, the Prime Minister had a cry saying, we need to make things in India. Be it games, be it toys. So we are also in that effort. So we have also been doing this for a long time now. And in our journey now, we are launching 4G. This is getting launched today. And hopefully we can also be part of this bigger industry now with a game that we have made. It has taken us a long time to make this game, and we are happy to launch the game here today.
A lot of people play PUBG and other games. Will it be something like that, or will we have something different?
So yes, we are trying to make the Indian shooter. The whole idea is that this today, aaj India mein, you have a lot of kids who are playing games, and we want them to experience some of our product that we have created. So the whole idea is that it is not about just Make in India, but it is also about quality of international product that you will get and you will be able to consume.
How do you see India capitalizing on this huge opportunity? Waves is a huge opportunity for all the collaborators to come under one roof.
So gaming itself is a very big industry. It is, if you put Hollywood, Bollywood, music, everything together, it is still bigger. It's a multi-billion-dollar company globally as a market.
Absolutely. So, Waves 2025 saw a lot of this kind of gamers, the startup company coming together under one roof, providing India a Make in India game for the world and for Indians. With Kaposashis, this is Tapash Bhattacharya for DD India from Mumbai.
That was Deepak Ale speaking to Tapas Bhattacharya. Our next story, addressing a session on powering the creator economy in India at Waves in Mumbai, the YouTube CEO Neil Mohan, he said that India is a creator nation with 100 million channels uploading content in 2024, out of which over 15,000 of them had over 1 million subscribers.
Prime Minister's visionary leadership has made India a beacon for creators all over the world. And it's really evidenced by his own remarkable digital presence. With over 25 million subscribers on YouTube, the Prime Minister has the largest YouTube following of any head of government in the world. Indian creators exemplify what is special about YouTube: the ability to share history, culture, and passion with viewers in every corner of the world. Last year, content produced in India racked up 45 billion hours of watch time from viewers outside of the country. In the next 2 years, YouTube will invest over 850 crores to accelerate the growth of Indian creators, artists, and media companies.
Well, Waves 2025 was launched in Mumbai, showcasing India's film and content industries. Prime Minister Modi emphasized Indian-made content's role in economic growth and cultural richness. With 113 sessions, the summit aims to transform India's entertainment sector. Here's that report.
The world's first of its kind World Audiovisual Entertainment Summit Waves 2025 was inaugurated in Mumbai on Thursday. The 4-day summit held at the Geo World Convention Center saw a remarkable turnout, with a large audience that included celebrities from the Indian film industry and other prominent content creators. In his address, the Prime Minister emphasized the significant role of Indian-made content and highlighted the potential of content creators to drive the country towards an economic boom. Highlighting the depth of India's cultural wealth, Prime Minister Modi remarked that in India, even music is considered a form of spiritual practice.
साथियों, हमारे यहाँ नाद ब्रह्म यानी साउंड ऑफ डिवाइन की कल्पना है। हमारे ईश्वर भी खुद को संगीत और नृत्य से अभिव्यक्त करते हैं। इतना कुछ है हमारे पास। अभी यहां जो मन मोहने वाले सांस्कृतिक प्रस्तुति हुई, उसमें भी उसकी झलक दिखी है। और इसलिए ही मैं कहता हूं, यही समय है, सही समय है।
Prime Minister also expressed confidence that in the coming years, the creative economy could significantly boost India's GDP.
स्क्रीन माइक्रो होती जा रही है, पर मैसेज मेगा होता जा रहा है। आजकल भारत का खाना विश्व की पसंद बनता जा रहा है। मुझे विश्वास है कि आने वाले दिनों में भारत का गाना भी विश्व की पहचान बनेगा। साथियों, भारत की क्रिएटिव इकोनॉमी आने वाले वर्षों में जीडीपी में अपना योगदान और बढ़ा सकती है।
With Waves officially inaugurated, actor Akshay Kumar hosted the first plenary session of the day titled Legends and Legacies, Stories that Shaped India's Soul. The session brought together iconic actors such as Hema Malini, Mohanlal and Chiranjeevi, who shared their personal experiences and offered valuable insights into the rich legacy of Indian cinema and its impact on the nation's cultural fabric. Icons of the entertainment industry have hailed the summit as a groundbreaking initiative for India's entertainment sector.
It's a very good initiative which is focusing on entertainment in India and the various aspects of entertainment, not just filmmaking, gaming, AI, long form telling. So all of this is going to get a real boost, I think.
I want to thank our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, who took this initiative and giving opportunities to so many people, so many creators out there, and so many from media, from cinema, from the gaming zone, the creators side. So thousands of people are here today under one roof.
The 4-day Waves Summit will feature 42 plenary sessions, 39 breakout sessions, and 32 masterclasses covering a wide range of sectors, including broadcasting, infotainment, AVGC XR, films and digital media. Siddharth Bharadwaj, Gautam Roy, Shama Mishra's report from Mumbai for DD India.
What's still to come here on DD India News Hour? Looting of food stores and kitchens in Gaza signals the worsening of hunger 2 months after Israel cut off supplies. Iran's talks with the United States on its nuclear program on Saturday are postponed. The U.S. economy shrinks in Q1 2025. President Trump urges patience, criticizes China's economic struggles.
Bharat welcomes the world.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. The US Defense Secretary reaffirmed support for India's fight against terrorism, expressing solidarity. The External Affairs Minister Jaishankar urged US Secretary of State Rubio to ensure justice for the Pahalgam attacks perpetrators and backers. Here's a report.
United States has reiterated its strong support for India's fight against terrorism. On Thursday, US Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth spoke to India's Defense Minister Rajnath Singh and said that the United States stands in solidarity with India. According to a statement by India's Defense Ministry, US Secretary of Defense expressed his deepest sympathies for the tragic loss of innocent lives in the dastardly terror attack in Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir. Secretary Hegseth said that the US stands in solidarity with India and supports India's right to defend itself. He reiterated the strong support of the US government in India's fight against terrorism. During the conversation, US Secretary of Defense and India's Defense Minister reiterated that it is important for the global community to explicitly and unequivocally condemn and call out such heinous acts of terrorism. Earlier, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar spoke with US Secretary of State Mark Rubio and called for bringing perpetrators of the Pahalgam terror attack to justice. He wrote on X, and I quote, "Discussed the Pahalgam terrorist attack with US Secretary of State Mark Rubio yesterday. Its perpetrators, backers, and planners must be brought to justice." India's Home Minister Amit Shah said on Thursday that the perpetrators of Pahalgam attack will be punished appropriately.
अगर कोई एक कायराना हमला कर ये समझता है कि हमारी बड़ी जीत है, तो एक बात मन से समझ लीजिए, देश की इंच इंच भूमि पर से आतंकवाद को मूल समेत उखाड़ने का हमारा संकल्प है और वो सिद्ध होकर रहेगा.
Meanwhile, the National Investigation Agency is leading the probe into the Pahalgam terror attack. NI Director General Sadanand Date visited Pahalgam on Thursday. He held a meeting with investigating officials regarding the progress of ongoing probe of 22nd April terrorist attack in the Baisaran Valley in Pahalgam. In another move, India has shut down its airspace to all Pakistani-owned and operated planes. Fuzail Ahmad's report for DD India.
In another development, India's Supreme Court on Thursday slammed a petitioner and junked his plea for seeking a judicial probe into the Pahalgam terror attack last month. India's apex court observed that such petitions only seek to demoralize the forces at a time when every citizen of the country has united to fight against terrorism. Tourist footfall has fallen in Pahalgam while the locals lament the human and economic loss. Foreign tourists are all praised for the hospitality of Kashmiris in Pahalgam. DD India's Vishal Barrister reports.
I'm here in the Pahalgam market. The NIA team had just visited Baisaran. They are investigating this case of the dastardly attack in which 26 people got killed. The market is not that much crowded, which it was supposed to be during the season. Let's talk to some of the locals and find out, after this incident, what has been the situation here. Are the tourists still coming or they have their number has declined?
नहीं, ये जो यहाँ इंसिडेंट जो टेरर अटैक यहाँ हुआ है उस दिन से यहाँ की जो अगर हम टूरिज्म की बात करें, टूरिस्ट का जो यहाँ आना था उसमें बिल्कुल कमी हुई है, विजिबल कमी हुई है. तो ये एक बड़ा टेररिस्ट अटैक था. तो इस सिलसिले में यहाँ के जो टूरिस्ट आ रहे थे यहाँ उनमें काफी ज्यादा कमी देखने को मिल रही है.
If we talk about the footfall of the tourist, क्या कहेंगे? What would you say?
मैं तो इसके बारे में जब से ये टेररिस्ट अटैक हुआ है यहाँ पे तब से तो पूरा ठप बैठा है. मार्केट खुला है, मार्केट तो अभी जस्ट आप देख भी रहे हो, अभी सब खुला है, लेकिन टूरिज्म कुछ भी नहीं है यहाँ पे.
There are some foreign tourists as well. Let's talk to them and find out how do they feel about this. I'm here in the Pahalgam market. Let's talk to them and find out what do they have to speak about it. Where are you from?
Vietnam.
So, are you aware of the terror attack which shook Pahalgam?
I know. I'm aware. Yeah.
Do you feel unsafe?
Not really. I feel safe because a lot of military around, so I feel safe.
What has been your experience here? How did you like the place?
Yeah, actually the landscape is very beautiful and the food we love the food in here. Yeah.
So what memories are you going to take back?
Memories of the mountains, Dao Lake, and Boyani.
So there you heard from the stories. They have all words of appreciation about the people, about the place. But yes, the attack has definitely taken a beating. With cameraman Mohit Uike in Pahalgam, this is Vishal Baristo for DD India.
The chief of the National Investigation Agency, Sadanand Date, inspected the site of the April 22 terror attack in Baisaran, which is in Pahalgam, on Thursday. According to officials of the NIA, the Director General also had discussion with senior officials of the anti-terror agency probing the case. The NIA, that's the National Investigation Agency, had on April 27 taken over the terrorist attack case in which 26 people, mostly tourists, were gunned down. The agency has also intensified search for evidence and questioned scores of eyewitnesses to unravel the terror conspiracy. Increased looting of food stores and community kitchens in the Gaza Strip. This shows growing desperation as hunger spreads in the region. The Palestinian residents and aid officials said at least 5 incidents of looting took place across the enclave on Wednesday, including at community kitchens, merchant stores, and the UN Palestinian Refugee Agency's main complex in Gaza. The Israeli forces are continuing their aerial and ground offensive across Gaza with Hamas that began nearly 19 months ago. Thousands of displaced people broke into UNRWA's complex in Gaza City late on Wednesday, stealing medicines from its pharmacy and damaging vehicles. Oman's top diplomat, whose country is mediating Iran's talks with the United States on its nuclear program, said on Thursday that the latest round of planned talks, which are for this week, they have been postponed to a later date. In a post on X, Oman's foreign minister, Al-Busaidi, he has said, Badr al-Busaidi, he has said that the talks have been postponed due to logistical reasons and it is being rescheduled. Now, the US-Iran meeting provisionally was planned for Saturday, May 3. New dates will be announced mutually. A Ukrainian drone attack on a market in Oleshki, which is in Kherson, killed 7 and wounded over 20 civilians. The Russian officials have said so. And the strike targeting a crowded area was followed by further drones aimed at survivors. In a separate incident, a Russian drone attack on Odessa killed 2 and injured 15. Both sides continue to use drones in escalating strikes hitting civilian areas. The U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is hosting his French counterpart Jean-Noel Barrot at the White House, at the State Department in Washington on Thursday. Rubio recently met with Barrot in Paris, where they reportedly discussed the war in Ukraine, the situation in the Middle East, and Iran's nuclear talks. Now, the United States' President Donald Trump's National Security Advisor Mike Waltz and his deputy Alex Wong will step down from their White House posts. According to U.S. media outlets, the former U.S. congressman is the first major official to leave the administration in Trump's second term, which has so far been more stable in terms of personnel than the first. Waltz had been under pressure since the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic magazine revealed in March that Waltz had mistakenly added him to a chat on a commercial messaging app, Signal, about attacks on Houthi rebels. The White House did not confirm the reports, saying that they do not want to get ahead of any announcement. The U.S. economy shrank in Q1 of 2025, the first decline in 3 years. President Trump has urged patience and noted that China's struggles with tariffs continue. Wall Street rebounded, that is, as a weak yen has boosted the dollar amid thin holiday trading. Here's the report.
The US economy saw a significant contraction during the first quarter of 2025, marking the first such decline in 3 years. US President Donald Trump, meanwhile, urged patience following reports of the economy shrinking in the first quarter. During a cabinet meeting on Wednesday, Trump said that he doesn't want China to suffer cause of tariffs, adding that China is doing very poorly right now.
We took over on January 20th. The tariffs haven't kicked in yet. I know that, and I don't want this to happen, but I know that China is doing very poorly right now. I just saw some reports coming out, and I don't want that to happen to China. I like the president a lot, President Xi. I don't want it to happen. I was actually saddened to hear it, but they are getting absolutely hammered in China.
Trump, in fact, emphatically blamed former President Joe Biden for the dismal state of the economy following the Commerce Department's Advanced Gross Domestic Product report.
Core GDP, and this is, you probably saw some numbers today. And I have to start off by saying that's Biden. That's not Trump, because we came in on January, this is quarterly numbers. And we came in and I was very against everything that Biden was doing in terms of the economy, destroying our country.
Wall Street pointed higher on Thursday, with the downtrodden dollar also on the rise after gloomy Bank of Japan economic forecasts had yanked the yen lower amid signs that so-called US exceptionalism trades may not be dead after all. May Day public holidays around the world, including much of Europe, meant trading was thin on volumes, but with some lively moves. Bureau Report, DD India.
Hundreds of United Nations employees protested in Geneva on Thursday over mass job cuts triggered by major funding withdrawals from the US and other donors, with staff warning of visa issues, lack of safety nets, and a growing humanitarian workforce crisis. Demonstrators rallied outside the UN's European headquarters, holding banners reading "Stop firing UN staff now," and chanting slogans like "UN staff are not a commodity." Layoffs have already begun at agencies like the IOM, while deeper cuts loom for those dependent on voluntary funding, including WFP and UNHCR. Now, many affected staff, they say that they face expiring visas, no unemployment benefits, and uncertainty over their future in Geneva. The South Korean Finance Minister Choi Sang-mok has taken over as an interim president after Han Duck-so's resignation ahead of South Korea's June 3 election. The country's Supreme Court also overturned Lee Jae-myung's acquittal. He was a frontrunner in the polls. The ex-president Yoon Suk-yeol also faces new charges over martial law. Political turmoil is clearly clouding the snap election. Dheeraj Das reports.
In the latest twist to South Korea's political turmoil, Finance Minister Choi Sang-mok is all set to inherit the role of President and Prime Minister after interim leader Han Duck-soo resigned. Conservative technocrat Sang-mok will wield interim authority for just about a month till the elections take place on June 3rd, in which Han is expected to run. Prime Minister Han Duck-soo, who is also acting president, stepped down in a bid to file his nomination for his widely expected presidential bid. Meanwhile, South Korea's Supreme Court on Thursday dismissed the ruling of an appeal court that acquitted Lee Jae-myung, presidential candidate of the majority Liberal Democratic Party, in the election law violation case. The Supreme Court said that Lee violated election laws by publicly making false statements during his 2022 presidential bid and sent the case back to the appeals court.
The defendant's remarks were judged to be false statements on matters important enough to ruin voters' accurate judgment on the defendant's eligibility for public office. Following the majority opinion of the justices, the judgment is as follows. The original ruling is overturned and the case is sent back to the Seoul High Court.
Hours after the judgment, Lee said that the verdict was completely different from the ruling he had expected. At an event with workers in Seoul on Thursday, Lee said he would do whatever people wanted. no matter what his political rivals said.
The ruling is in a completely different direction from what I had expected. I will first review the details and then express my position. The important thing is that the law is also an agreement of the people, and ultimately, the will of the people is the most important. I want to emphasize this point.
Earlier on Thursday, former South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol was indicted for abuse of power over his martial law declaration, adding to the impeached ex-leader's legal jeopardy. The new indictment comes as Yoon stands trial for orchestrating an insurrection with his December 3rd martial law attempt, which sought to suspend democratic rule in South Korea. The developments have cast a shadow over the snap elections, which was called following one of the most dramatic political collapses in South Korea's recent history. The coming days are expected to clarify the contours of the race as Han formally enters the fray and the legal battle surrounding Lee intensifies. Dheeraj Das for DD India.
Still to come here on DD India News Hour. We'll get your expert opinion on the US-Ukraine minerals deal. Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. The US-Ukraine minerals deal. It prioritizes US access to Ukraine's resources while maintaining Ukrainian control over extraction. It includes a reconstruction fund to aid Ukraine's economy, reinforcing US support amid tensions with Russia without imposing financial debt. This report has some details.
The US-Ukraine mineral deal grants the US preferential access to Ukraine's critical minerals, which are key to its defense, electronics, aerospace, and green energy. It also establishes the Reconstruction Investment Fund to attract American capital and expertise, boosting Ukraine's investment climate and economic recovery.
Today's agreement signals clearly to Russian leadership that the Trump administration is committed to a peace process centered on a free, sovereign, and prosperous Ukraine over the long term. It's time for this cruel and senseless war to end. The killing must stop, and both the United States and the government of Ukraine look forward to quickly operationalizing this historic economic partnership for both the Ukrainian and American people.
The United States Development Finance Corporation will play a pivotal role in establishing the US-Ukraine Reconstruction Investment Fund in collaboration with the government of Ukraine. Efforts are on to strengthen ties and promote peace through economic cooperation. Ukraine's foreign minister called the deal an important milestone aimed at strengthening Ukraine's economy and security. The agreement is also central to Kyiv's effort to mend ties with the White House, which frayed after President Trump took office in January. Ukrainians clearly want peace, even if there is a price to pay for it.
If there's a result after Ukraine gives away its resources to the US and there's a ceasefire as Putin promised, then let them take the minerals. If the price is in human lives that we lose every day, then let them take the resources.
As Ukraine holds 22 of the EU's 34 critical minerals, making it a key US partner in securing supply chains, the deal boosts Ukraine's global market position while reducing reliance on China. So as Ukraine agrees to partner with the United States in the extraction of these rare minerals, the focus is now on 40% of its reserves. That includes key elements like titanium and uranium, which are in the Russian-occupied areas. As the ground reality stands, the critical task now would be accessibility and extraction of these minerals, which look complicated amid the prevailing geopolitics in the region. Bureau Report, DD India.
Ambassador Sanjay Bhattacharya, former Secretary, Ministry of External Affairs, is with us to throw light on this story. Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you for being with us. Now, you know, to what extent does the renewed US-Ukraine partnership actually impact geopolitical tensions, particularly in the areas controlled by Russia?
So I think this deal is very significant for three specific reasons. The United States was very keen that this deal be done, and initially the Ukrainians were not as keen about it. But the fact that this has been done means that the United States is now more engaged in Ukraine, and in some way this would also support the kind of activities that Europe had wanted the US to do. The second thing that I think comes out of this is that there is an economic content that looks further into the reconstruction aspects of it, and it sends a message to the parties that are engaged in war, that is Europe and Russia in particular. Okay. And I think there's a third aspect that comes in because of this particular deal, and that is that at the end of the day, while the Americans are engaged in a tariff war, in which the Chinese are a principal adversary, and there are threats that there would be cutbacks or stopping of the supplies of rare earths and minerals, the opportunities for having other avenues to maintain global supply chains are being looked at. So in other words, what we're looking at is a policy in which the US does not always necessarily win. It is a policy through which US actually has to negotiate, and I think we come up with solutions that meet the aspirations of both sides. So I think in some ways this is a good outcome for both the US and Ukraine, and for Europe as well.
So what you're saying is that the deal probably strengthens global supply chains for critical minerals, giving more options. But can the Ukraine actually help reduce dependence on China?
Well, yes, it certainly can. Of course, this is not going to happen tomorrow, because the bulk of the rare earths and critical minerals are held and processed by China. And while this particular deal includes both aspects of extraction and processing, I'm sure this is something that will take some time before it can be implemented, because in most of these cases, the current level of extraction is at very minimal levels, if there is.
And Ambassador Bhattacharya, how does the agreement actually contribute to Ukraine's post-war recovery and investment climate? Because they say it's long-term.
Well, you know, the first thing that US would like to have done was to bring about a credible ceasefire. And I think the efforts in that are still some way short of what the desired outcomes were sought to be. Because the kind of action that was sought between Ukraine and Russia has not worked towards a ceasefire. And so unless there is ceasefire, reconstruction will be some distance away. But this does set about a certain fund and a mechanism for that reconstruction when that comes about. It also says that there is a certain economic way in which the funding of various activities can also be done. And note, there are certain things that are missing, I would think, from my initial reading of the agreement that has come about. It does not talk about the possibility of Ukraine getting into NATO. It does not talk about the denial of Ukraine getting into the European Union. But what it does not also talk about is the fact that there has to be a ceasefire before any credible movement can take place. But this is a very important incremental step in that direction. And I think it is also a signal to the Russians.
So it's clearly an economic agreement. So how serious are the challenges then of restoring infrastructure before any mineral extraction can be done? After all, half of it is destroyed.
Yes, of course. I know large parts of the areas where many of these critical minerals are present are actually currently in Russian occupation.
Right.
So the control that Ukraine has over those particular reserves would not be there. But I think what this does do is that it sets the framework as to how they can go ahead. I doubt if anything is going to happen tomorrow, as I said earlier, because even this process of extraction is something that will require a mobilization of investments. But the fact that the Americans have committed to taking part in this is a positive development. Because if you look at it a couple of weeks ago, the tension in the White House was palpable, and the United States was not in a position to continue its support to the war effort in Ukraine.
So, at the end of the day, I mean, there has to be peace. But, how much of this deal was going to influence global trade, defense industries to become stronger in the region so that there is, that sort of peace, which is a positive kind of peace? So what do you look at in terms of a transition to all these developments, or even renewable energies coming forth?
Right. I think, what had come about because of the early days and the early pronouncements from the Trump administration was something that meant a severance of various old alliances and partnerships that the Americans had in the transatlantic context, and a certain new rapprochement that was being suggested with Russia. And in that particular context, if you see this agreement that has now been signed after that very interesting meeting at the Vatican between President Trump and President Zelensky, it would signal that while not everything has been undone regarding the transatlantic partnership, there are signals that they can be revived and they can be brought back to where they were. The Europeans have made various significant steps in terms of stepping up their defense commitments as a portion of their GDP in terms of the kind of support that they would lend to the transatlantic alliance as well as to Ukraine. And at the same time, there has been a slightly different tone that has come from Russia as well. So I think on the important aspect of the conflict that is on between Ukraine and Russia, we hope that we will see some new energy in this as an outcome of this. And secondly, I think there would be much greater sense of confidence between Europe and America that they can actually work out a deal.
Ambassador Sanjay Bhattacharya, former Secretary MEA, thank you very much for joining us with your insights and helping us to understand this minerals deal a lot better. Now moving on, let's take a look at some other stories making the news. In a significant step towards bolstering security and growth for all in the region, that's Sagar, India's naval ship IOS Sagar. It arrived in Port Victoria on Thursday. The vessel was warmly received by the High Commissioner along with the Chief and Deputy Chief of Seychelles' Defence Forces, the senior SDF members, as well as members of the Indian diaspora. As the doors of the Kedarnath Dham are set to open on Friday, the security forces have been deployed for the security and safety of devotees. Superintendent of Police Akshay Prahalad Konde, he said that the devotees' safety is their priority and the proper security forces have been deployed for both security and management purposes. Rajasthan's Jaisalmer experienced normal rainfall, bringing much needed relief in the region. The showers, influenced by seasonal weather patterns, have helped cool temperatures and replenish water sources. Still to come here on DD India News Hour. We'll get you more stories and pull-aside interactions from the WAVE Summit in Mumbai. The Indian women's hockey team goes down fighting to Australia 0-2 in Perth.
Bharat welcomes the world to a new era of creativity. Waves World Audiovisual and Entertainment Summit as Mumbai hosts the global stage for creativity and innovation. Connecting creators through Creatosphere, where emerging voices rise. Wave Accelerator, where ideas meet global investors. Waves Bazaar, a global marketplace for content. Connecting countries through global media dialogue and industry roundtable. Bharat Pavilion, capturing India's rich history of storytelling.
वेव्स के रूप में भारत एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म बनाने जा रहा है जिसमें दुनिया के एंटरटेनमेंट लैंडस्केप पर उसको बदलने की क्षमता होगी।
From culturals to cinema, gaming to animation, fueling the next wave of entertainment. Connecting creators, connecting countries. Waves 2025.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. Bollywood stars Amir Khan and Rajkumar Rao, along with acclaimed filmmaker Zoya Akhtar, marked their presence on day one of the Waves Summit in Mumbai on Thursday. Speaking to DD India, Siddharth Bharadwaj, Amir Khan described the summit as a fantastic platform for young talent from across the country to shine. Rajkumar Rao echoed the sentiment, calling Waves a space for storytellers to share their voices. Zoya Akhtar also expressed her excitement and support for the initiative. Take a listen.
Sir, how do you see Waves as a platform for creators?
I think it's a great idea, and I think that it's a great opportunity for young people across the country to arise and showcase their talent. And it's a very good initiative which is focusing on entertainment in India and the various aspects of entertainment, not just filmmaking, gaming, AI, long form telling. So all of this is going to get a real boost, I think. So I think it's a wonderful initiative that the Prime Minister has launched, and we should really work hard to make this a big success. Yeah.
And sir, how about the content which is going beyond the borders by this platform, the reach?
Yes, certainly. I think this platform is over the years will become hopefully an international platform which will reach the entire world. Yes. Thank you.
So that was Amir Khan who said that hopefully this platform will reach the entire world. It has already made an indelible mark on the global map. With camera person Jagmohan, this is Siddharth Bharadwaj reporting for DD India in Mumbai.
I think it's a great initiative. It's a historic moment for our country. I want to thank our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, who took this initiative and giving opportunities to so many people, so many creators out there, and so many from media, from cinema, from the gaming zone, the creators side. So thousands of people are here today under one roof. I think it's a great moment. It's a shining moment for our country.
This platform is providing opportunities to, like you just said, creators, innovators, businesses, collaborators. How do you like this idea that our content is reaching beyond borders?
There's so much of talent in our country, and it's already reaching, but I think it's high time it should reach out even more. So I'm very glad that this is happening, because our country is going to be leading the change in the entertainment section.
And a message to the youth you want to give?
Oh yes, especially now. I think the opportunities are way more now than what it was like 10 years ago, 20 years ago. So guys, just if you have something to say, if you have a story to say, if you have anything that you want to create, now is the time. Now is the time to just focus on it. There's so many ample opportunities now. There are avenues, there are resources now. So it's a great one for you. So I think all the very best. If you have something to say, if you have a story, if you want to create something, Waves is the place to be.
What do you think about this platform, Waves?
Well, I'm going to find out now. It's a 4-day convention. I'm very excited, and I think it's an amazing initiative to get the industry together and make entertainment media for the world, and we're excited.
Workers and activists around the world marked International Labour Day on May 1 with rallies demanding improved labour rights. Protests, many focused on workers' and immigrants' rights, and they were sparked by concerns also over President Donald Trump's policies, including aggressive tariffs and immigration crackdowns. In Turkey, police clashed with protesters in Istanbul, while in South Korea, workers rallied in Seoul for stronger labour rights. Meanwhile, in Greece, thousands protested in Athens for higher wages. with workers halting public transport as well as port services to demand action against rising living costs. Let's take a look now at other stories making news from around the world. The British Counter-Terrorism Police have launched an investigation into the Irish rap trio Kneecap over videos allegedly promoting extremist views. London's Metropolitan Police confirmed that 2 videos were referred to its counter-terrorism internet referral unit for further investigation. London experienced record-breaking heat on Thursday that temperatures soared to 28 degrees Celsius, which is the hottest start to May ever for the UK. The Met Office confirmed the milestone at Kew Gardens. Locals and tourists flocked outdoors to enjoy the rare early summer weather, calling it an unusually hot day for the season. Berliners took their first dip of the season in Lake Wannsee. This is on May Day on Europe. This is as Europe's largest island, Lido, reopened under sunny skies and 20 degrees Celsius warmth, despite the chilly 14 degrees water. The beachgoers in Cologne also embraced the early beach season at Lake Rother, soaking up the spring sunshine. The Brazilian nun Ina Canabarao Lucas passed away on Wednesday at the age of 116. She was recognized in January of 2025, and she held the title of the world's oldest living person and nun. Now, Lucas was born in 1908 and was also the 20th oldest person in recorded history. With the conclave set to begin on May 7, anticipation is growing in Italy as the world awaits the election of a new pope. Many Italians are openly hoping for the first Italian pontiff since John Paul I in 1978. Since then, popes from Poland, Germany and Argentina have led the Catholic Church. You're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for some sports news. And India's Sports Minister, Mansukh Mandavia, he conferred the country's highest sporting award to badminton champions Chirag Shetty and Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy. This was in New Delhi on Thursday. Chirag and Satvik were named for the 2023 Major Dhyan Chand Khel Ratna Award, but could not attend the ceremony last year due to their playing commitments. They were due to receive the award from the sports minister in February this year, but that event was also postponed after Satvik's father passed away. Chirag and Satvik had a memorable 2023. They won the Asian Games gold medal, the Asian Championships title and the prestigious Indonesian Open. And they also have clinched World Championships bronze medals and Commonwealth Games gold medals. The Indian women's hockey team put up a spirited effort, but they went down 0-2 against hosts Australia in the first of the 3-match series in Perth on Thursday. The match began with Australia putting pressure on India's defence. They eventually broke the deadlock in the 9th minute when Courtney Shornell had found the back of the net and gave her team the lead. In the 4th quarter, India conceded for the second time. This is when Grace Stewart, she slotted the ball into the net from open play and sealed the victory for the hosts. The second match of the series is to be played on Saturday. Casper Ruud, has reached the Madrid Open semi-finals with a 6-3, 7-5 triumph over Daniil Medvedev. This happened on Thursday. Ruud, in fact, put heavy pressure on Medvedev's serve in the first set, breaking in the 4th game and serving it out. The second set featured just a single break point, which was converted by Ruud, enabling him to serve for the match. Medvedev made 33 unforced errors and committed 4 double faults on a disappointing afternoon. Well, that's all we have in this edition of DD India News Hour. Let's know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those of you on the go, get the latest news and updates from DD India on the mobile app. It's available on Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code and download it now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Mark Lynn. And from all of us here in Delhi, thank you very much for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.